What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another review. Today we are going to take a look at the recent release of MAXXINE. Now, MAXXINE is the third movie in the X trilogy. It follows Pearl and the movie X. Now, I will preface this by saying before I saw MAXXINE, I did not see the first two movies in the series. However, after going and seeing MAXXINE, I decided that it would probably be in my best interest to watch the first two. And I will say, overall, the trilogy was pretty good. And to me, MAXXINE is probably my favorite movie of the series. I know I heard people in the theater talking that X was their least favorite, Pearl was their favorite, and MAXXINE came in at number 2. So when you're looking at MAXXINE, you are looking at a young lady who is trying to make it into Hollywood. She is a star in the adult industry, and what she is doing is trying to finally break into Hollywood. And so here, at the beginning of the film, you see her auditioning for A Puritan 2, and with this role, it allows her to enter that space of actually being in Hollywood. Now, the one thing that I found very interesting about this movie was in each aspect of the movie, you saw the challenges that she was facing. So at the beginning, they play a clip, and at the end, you see what that clip resembles and who was behind the clip. And so really talking about you should not accept a life that you do not earn or do not deserve. And so it kind of gives a little bit of a creepiness right at the beginning. Now, as you follow through the movie, you see her continue to work in the adult industry, but you also see those people around her start to get murdered. So the people around her are being killed, and there is really a coincidence on how they are being killed or where they are being killed. So at this point in America, there was the Night Stalker. The Night Stalker was going around and killing young ladies. But the other thing that you have to understand too during this time was you had the Manson family that was running wild too. And so I really thought the movie did a good job of highlighting those specific aspects. So you were seeing the Manson, you were seeing the Night Stalker, but you were also seeing how a young lady was going to survive during that time. Now, after the people close to her were killed, you see the cops becoming more intrigued with her. And they're becoming intrigued with her due to the fact that people that are close to her are the ones that are being killed. And so what that gives you an opportunity to do is really look at who is at fault. Now, we are introduced to a private investigator that had been hired, which we will find out later by who, but hired to go to Hollywood and find her. And so what you're really looking at from that perspective is why MAXXINE is in Hollywood. There are demons in her past that are starting to come back. And so as MAXXINE is following all of these challenges, you're really looking at what could happen. Now, this is where a little bit of a spoiler alert comes in. MAXXINE, during the film, after watching a video that was provided and really killing off the private investigator, she realizes that there is a connection to all of the disappearances. So what she realizes is that the 3 to 4 people she knew that were killed, there was a common connection. And it was always a party up in the hills that the girls were told about. Now, this is where the little bit of a spoiler comes into play. And what you realize is MAXXINE goes up, and the whole time she has been in Hollywood, her father has been making a movie about how she is committing sins. So you're seeing the protests outside the theater, but you really start to see what even today we have is people thinking Hollywood is full of sinful people, but you're also seeing that her dad is back in Hollywood to, one, take her home, but you also see, two, that he wants her to repent for, quote, the sins that she was committing. Now, the ending of this movie and the way that the ending goes down is interesting. It is done very well, which really made me wish that there was a fourth movie that would be released. However, that is not the case. Now, looking at this film, I really looked at it from a few different perspectives. After watching it the first time, I've seen it twice, I really put it at about a 4 on the scale out of 5. And that was really because of the storytelling. That was because of the actors and the actresses involved. But then the more I watched it and went back and watched it a second time, to me, the movie is about a 4.3 out of 5. It is a movie that I would watch again. It is a movie that I would recommend. But it's also a movie that I think will stand the test of time. And what I mean by that is I feel like it's one of those movies where when you're looking at the trilogy and people gain interest in it, people will want to watch the movie, but will also enjoy it. So MAXXINE, I recommend going and seeing it before it's out of theaters. It is still in theaters in Regal today. So if you have a chance and you've not seen it, I highly recommend going and seeing that. So with that being said, thank you all for the continued support and the views, and I will talk to you guys later.